Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So, like most of you, I've got multiple different hobbies, quite like gaming, mountain biking and RC. But I'm going to show you a way of combining basically the new Legion Go, so Lenovo handheld gaming PC, with RC. And for how cheap you can get these compared to buying a full-out gaming PC or something like that, it's quite a useful bit of kit, and the fact it's so mobile means you can take this to track if you want to do updates or anything like that. All you've got to do is have an internet connection, and it's even smaller than taking a laptop round with you. But let's bring in for a close-up look. I'll run you through a few options you've got with it and show you what sort of stuff you can do with your Flysky controller and a Lenovo Legion Go. So we have as basic setup of the Legion Go. You can clip the controllers off and just use the actual device itself. You don't need a keyboard and mouse connected to it. It's just easier than me poking all of it front at screen. It is full touch screen. It does have an on-screen keyboard, so you can use that. I would suggest running a dock. So for this, we've just got a little USB-C dock. I've got the power supply plugged into it. It gives you HDMI out if you want to use an external screen. You've got a network port in case you've only got wired network and not wireless. And more importantly, you've got a bunch of extra USB ports. The device itself has a USB-C on top and on bottom. So if you've got a USB-C to USB-C cable, you can plug directly into any of your controllers. If you've got the MB4 Plus, if you're running the standard MB4 or Pro, then you're going to need an adapter, but you can get adapters from USB-C to A and then just plug your standard cable in. Or, as I say, if you're using any kind of dock, you're going to have extra USB ports on it. So, just like any of us other standard PCs, we can install the likes of VRC Pro, Flysky Assistant. So let's fire up Flysky Assistant and then give it a fortnight to load. And this is in no way a detriment of the Legion Go. Anybody that's used Assistant, it's just unbelievably slow. But while we're waiting for that to load up, we've got our Flysky controller. So this can be MB4, MB4 Plus, Pro, or ST8, G7P or anything. And we can just plug one end directly into his hub, plug the other end of the cable into the actual device.
Welcome to Nobot Plus.
Then it should fire up, although it may be this metal surround that's not letting it plug in to see the data connection. I'm guessing it is. So while we're waiting for Assistant, I'm going to remove this battery protector. And if anybody'd seen my video on this battery protector, that was one of the concerns I had with it, that it had stopped the cables plugging in correctly. So yeah, as soon as we remove that, plug it in, it works straight away. So it is seen as controller. And we're still waiting for Assistant to load up. Now, with the Legion Go, the controllers as standard detect as an Xbox controller. You do have a little switch on bottom, and if you're going to use your controller or your transmitter, I would flick the switch and put these into what they call FPS mode, and it turns it into a mouse and a controller. The reason I say that is that the Xbox controller will always override whatever controller you've got in, and when you're going into VRC Pro and that, it can cause issues. So, while we're waiting for Assistant, let's take a look at VRC Pro, and you can see it detected it straight away when Assistant opened. Now you don't need Assistant open to use VRC Pro. It has got a pretty decent set of speakers in this thing as well, but you can use it completely unpowered. So if we go into options, let's see if it's seen as controller. So you should be able to select it. If you go to calibrate, it should take that onto controller setup, so we can see if everything's working. We've got as throttle. Looks like it's detecting all buttons. Let's flick this to a model memory that I've not got configured. So you can set a model memory up to map buttons to various different axis if you want, but as a controller it does pick pretty much everything up. So you've got almost every button on the transmitter that you can use. So up to 12 of them. As soon as you know it's all detected, we can come out. If you go to settings on here, we've got calibrate. Which will set your X and Y for your throttle.
Center point. Center point. Center point.
I don't think we've got anything mapped to the X rotation, but you can change the way it's mapped. But that'll get us all calibrated. If you look under advanced, it's asking you which you want set as the preferred, so always want to make sure whatever control you've got in is your preferred one. And then you can mess around with settings for exponential and everything else. You know it's right when you've got these centered and they're going back to 0. And then you've also got reverse, so looks like as steering's fine, but as throttle's going minus. So you want to change that so it's going positive. You can go in and change all the settings on how you want it to work, but basically, let's see if we can hop into practice. And if, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's actually only drawing 44 watts of power, and that's powering this keyboard, the game, the controller, everything. So you don't need a lot of power.
30 seconds till the start of the race. Drive to your start position or return to the pit lane.
And this is going to be really difficult looking across the
20
screen.
seconds till the start of your race. Get ready.
But as you see, we're getting a really nice frame rate, really nice and smooth.
10 seconds till the start of your final. Your car will be placed on the starting grid. 5,
Now, you can map one of your buttons on your controller to the reset and everything, to reset your car position. You can basically map it to any function you want.
penalty.
And this is unbelievably difficult looking across the screen. But hopefully it just gives you an idea of how smooth this works. So the Legion Go for VRC, really nice to use. Just not looking sideways across screen. I mean, it is a crazy bright screen as well. This is turned down quite low. If I bring the options up. So we're only on 41% brightness, and I've got the studio lights on and everything. But that'll give you a rough idea of what you can actually do with VRC. So it does work as a really nice, very portable setup. If you just wanted to use VRC with it, you can plug the power supply into one of the other USB sockets and then just get a tiny little USB-C to whatever lead you want to plug in if you just want to use controller that way, and it'll work really well. You can run it off its own battery and just have the transmitter connected. You'll get quite a bit of runtime out of it. I'm pretty sure if we go into some of the advanced options as well, so if we go to customize, you've got all the other options of if you want to use the force pit, you can press that and assign that to a button, I believe. Yep. So the turn marshal, you can assign that to a button, and basically you can have any of these that you like. You've got 12 assignable buttons on this thing, so you don't need to have the on-screen keyboard or a keyboard plugged in to press spacebar to put your send back on track. So I'll just quickly see if I can demonstrate that for you. So I think we've assigned one of the options to this button, one to that. I think that was the turn marshal.
Welcome to this track. Enjoy your racing. 30 seconds till the start of the race. Drive to your start
So
position
as soon as you
or
press
return
it,
to the pit.
your turn marshal will put you back on track.
20 seconds
If you
till
crash
the start
off.
of your race. Get ready.
And then we've got force pit assigned to the bottom one.
10 seconds till the start of your final. Your car will be placed on the starting grid. 5, 4, 3.
So if we're driving around
Penalty.
and we go crazy and we crash, you can just hit the button and it'll just put you back. So no need to have on-screen keyboard coming up or anything. But that's one really good use for it. If we exit out of this. So the other use, of course, we've got Flysky Assistant. So we can go into this and do everything that we'd normally do. So if we wanted to, say, back up as model memories, you see the transmitter straight away picks Assistant up. We can select them all. And then just same as we do with anything else, we just got the options of going in, and you'll have to bear with me because I'm suffering from some kind of nasty bug. So we can just name a folder. You can save it anywhere on the device. With it being a PC, you can also plug in any USB sticks. It's got a micro SD slot that you can use. And then you can just type to save it. Again, got to apologise for coughing my head off, but I've been suffering a bit this weekend. But this is the sort of thing you can do at track with just the correct cable to connect to your MB4 or MB4 Plus or Pro. You don't need the dock, you don't even need a power supply with you. You have got different power settings on this, so you can slow the processor right down if it's not needed and get even longer battery life out of it. But it's also a good way that if you've got a number of different settings backed up for your controller, you can copy them to your friends at the track. You can copy their settings for the layout and send it to their controllers. Or if you've got friends at track that don't have PCs, you can take your Legion Go and you can update their transmitters for them. If you don't want to use Wi-Fi, you can download the standard updater software instead of the Assistant V3, and then you could just run the updater to update the transmitters. Obviously, you won't back your model memories up that way, And it'd be kind of nice if Assistant had worked with no internet connection whatsoever. But I don't think you'd get past the connecting to server bit. But there we have it. It's backed all his model memories up. And then if you wanted to, you could go in and force update. Or you can update a receiver. But yeah, just a really, really nice, convenient alternative to having a big bulky laptop or taking your controller to a PC every time, and it works just same as any other PC does. It is handy to have a keyboard and a mouse, but you don't need them. If you at any point, if you want a keyboard, if I remember which option it is, I think it's that and B, and it brings a keyboard up. You can resize this keyboard, you can move it around screen, you can have it full bottom at screen. So if you do need a keyboard, you don't have to carry one with you, and then you can either get rid of it or press the function button and B. But yeah, it's got lots and lots of options for just being very, very mobile and very easy to use. And it's just convenient. It's actually powerful enough to run any of the racetrack software as well. So if any of the racetracks out there are thinking, do we need a laptop? We've not got a lot of space. This is so much more convenient to move around than a laptop. And with a dock, you can have any number of ports. And it's just a very, very small, light, built-in Wi-Fi, built-in Bluetooth. You've got built-in trackpad, so you can use that instead. In fact, if I switch it back off of FPS mode, because at the minute, this controller will clip off and work as a mouse. So, where have I put the switch? So if I switch it back to trackpad mode, these are now working as controllers, and you've got a proper trackpad, so you don't even need a mouse. It's full touchscreen, so even if you don't want to use trackpad, you've got a full touchscreen. So yeah, quite a useful bit of kit, and I believe these are only around £650, which sounds a lot, but it's a full-on gaming handheld as well. Crazy resolution screen as well. So you've got a 2560 by 1600 screen. It's 144 Hz. So if you're not running graphically intensive stuff, you can have it running smooth as anything. And it will connect straight to an external monitor with a dock, or you can get a USB-C to HDMI cable, plug it into your external monitor. You've still got another USB-C on bottom to charge, which quite a few of these handhelds have only got one USB-C on. As I say, you've got micro USB on top. You've got headphone out if in case you want to plug it into an audio system. But yeah, crazy little bit of kit, extremely useful, and when you're not using it for RC, you can play games on it. I mean, I play Diablo 4 on it. It runs absolutely fantastic. And the Wi-Fi connection on here is pretty good. So we sat across house from my router, and we're getting over 500 meg down. Not sure what we've got up. Over 110 meg upload. But yeah, if you're wondering what it's like playing games on this thing, swap a screen res to 1280 by 800. Got to remember, it is a mobile graphics chipset and everything that's in it. But even so, we're still only peaking at about 65 watt, maybe 70 watt maximum. And the SSD in these things as well is an NVMe, so you're over 5,000 megasecond read write. But that's playing Diablo 4. No, this ain't gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but it looks nice and smooth. It plays well, so when you're not RCing, you've got no issues at all. Playing quite a lot of sort of PC games, it'll run just about anything. But that's just some idea of something else you can do, especially if you like racing outside tracks and the weather's awful. You've got something that you can update your transmitters, back up all your memories, and you can play VRC Pro indoors when the weather outside is awful. But I just thought I'd show you something that gives you more options. So let's wrap this one up. So there you have it, your Flysky controller and a Lenovo Legion Go. Make pretty good hobby buddies. Plenty of use what you can have with it. That's the carry case, don't take much to carry it around, and perfectly good for playing VRC Pro, many PC games. You can run track timing software off it. It will literally run everything that a standard PC will. It's just a lot smaller, and around 600 quid, 650, which you can pick them up for. Very useful piece of kit. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you again next time. I'm going to play some D4.